Throughout human existence, there are certain people and events that drastically alter the course of history, and some that leave long-lasting traditions upon cultures. The Sturgis Motorcycle Rally is the largest motorcycle rally in the world. This year, the massive celebration turns 85. But where did it all start? In today's episode, we're going to cover how it got started, when it got started, what's changed over the years, and really dive into what the rally is. So grab yourself a cold one and get ready for some rally history. In order to understand the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, we need to go back to the beginning. When did it start and who started it? I'd like to note that some of the earliest influence of motorcycles in the Black Hills area was actually when the cavalry at Fort Meade started replacing their horses with an Indian motorcycle contract.
Our cavalry post gave up half of its horse troop. This is 1938. And they received Harley-Davidson and Indian motorcycles.
1936, and there was a man named J.C. Pappy Hole. Pappy was a motorcycle enthusiast already, and when he purchased an Indian franchise, and he put that dealership on Junction Avenue in Sturgis. One short year after purchasing that motorcycle franchise, Pappy founded a club called the Jack Pine Gypsies. Pappy and the Jack Pine Gypsies promptly organized what would become the first Sturgis motorcycle rally and changed the course of motorcycle history forever. The next year in 1938, they held what would be called the Black Hills Motor Classic Gypsy Tour through the Black Hills. The event offered free camping and was even catered by the wives, the most famous of which was Pearl Hole, Pappy's wife. The dirt track race with popular rider Johnny Spiegelhoff would inspire a wave of racers to come to Sturgis for decades to come. The Black Hills Motor Classic was so popular that by the very next year in 1939, it had quadrupled in size. More events like the hill climb, ramp jumps, wall ride, flat track, and more stunt competitions were added. In the beginning days, lots of the stunts were showing off different tricks that you could do on your bike, maybe standing on one foot, maybe riding with no hands. And as they progressed, the daredevil nature just continued to grow. Pappy himself would ride through a burning wall. During the first year, there was even one death. A man named Edward Boron slid into a rail in Boulder Canyon. From 1942 to 1945, the rally was placed on hold while America was engaged in World War II. These were the only years that the rally has been missed since its conception. By the 1970s, the rally had moved away from its origins of racing and competitions to a grungier outlaw party type of feel. There were reports of staged sex shows behind backlit canvases while others poured out lit gasoline. The rally continued to grow until 1980 when the popularity brought 40,000 bikers into the town. This posed a large problem for the event itself. The rally had been growing, and with that growth, it had become very rowdy. There were lots of complaints about the bikers and the one percenters especially in town. In the early days, the city would allow bikers to camp in the city park. But that year, over 3,900 bikers registered to camp in the city park. And the town went nuts and absolutely experienced chaos. After several porta potty fires and some real nasty scenes of debauchery, the town people were absolutely fed up, and they didn't want the rally to continue at all. The city pressured Pappy to no longer allow one percenter clubs to participate in the rally. But Pappy wouldn't allow that. He said they hadn't done anything wrong, and they were motorcyclists after all. By 1980, the rally had grown so large that the Jack Pine Gypsies were no longer able to handle it, so they turned the rally event over to the city. By 1981, the residents took up a vote and tried to vote the rally out. After the 1981, the citizens wanted to abolish the rally, and the rally barely survived that city vote. The mayor was quoted during that event that he wanted to get the riffraff out of town. This is where the legendary Buffalo Chip steps in. A man named Rod Woodruff decided to throw a party just 4 miles outside of town. And this started as just basically a keg party in a field. They threw a stage out there, they allowed people to camp, there were no laws, there were no rules, and with the Buffalo Chip as a new campground and event space, coupled with the fact that the rally was already exploding, the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally blew up into a huge worldwide event. And today, it is the largest motorcycle rally in the world. If you own a motorcycle, you know about Sturgis. Pappy unfortunately passed away in 1989. In that year, the crowd was over 100,000 people. So what's changed over the years? Much like anything, motorcycling has been through a lot of progression over the last 100 years. Not only has the crowd changed, but the bikes that they're riding on. The stunt shows have gotten more extreme, the bikes have gotten faster, and they've definitely gotten a lot more expensive. The vendors have changed a lot over the years. When I got to Sturgis in 1997, there were a ton of custom airbrushing, pinstriping, and paint booths. Sportsters were one of the main bikes, and hardly any trikes were around. Today, as we see the original crowd of the rally has gotten older, we're seeing tons of trikes. The bikes have progressed from simple short cruisers with rough engines and no suspensions to the larger touring models and baggers becoming the most popular motorcycle today. The Sturgis merchandise dates back all the way to 1940 when the first Jack Pine Gypsies shirts were sold and they were all maroon. Today, there are a million different vendors that are going to sell Sturgis merchandise. Simply selling things with the word the Sturgis Rally has been a huge boiling point for the city of Sturgis. In 2018, the United States Court of Appeals ruled against the city that they do not own the words the city of Sturgis and that it can be printed on anything by anyone. As the sport of motorcycling has progressed, so have the type of vendors that come to Sturgis. Today you can see anything from knives, top hats, IV hydration stations. Girls can get their bodies airbrushed, leathers, and of course they're selling and installing every type of motorcycle accessory that is imaginable. Exhaust, speakers, rims, anything you have the Benjamins to spend on. The crowd has changed a lot over the years. I remember when I first got to Sturgis 97, and the crowd felt more like a dirty, chaotic biker scene. Lots of people sleeping in tents along the neighborhoods going into Main Street. Many people who rode with all of their belongings tied to their motorcycle, and that's all they had, and they desperately needed a shower. As we cruised into the 2000s, motorcycles started becoming more expensive. People were coming into town with new, nice, shiny, chromed, everything, really expensive bikes. The average biker was better kept. I met a lot of doctors, lawyers. Many well-off individuals started to come and purchase motorcycles as that hardened image of the biker moved away from that dirty and rough one-percenter to the average everyday American. The bikes were also much simpler. In 97, the best-selling motorcycle was the Sportster 883 from Harley-Davidson. There's nothing to a Sportster. And to see one of those paint booths completely rip apart the tank and the fenders, paint it all, and put it all back together in a day was nothing. As technology progressed, you started seeing things like underglow lights, speaker systems, lowering air ride. Today, it's not uncommon to see show quality bikes on the main street of Sturgis, completely done with every accessory and massive 21-inch front wheels, with speaker systems so loud that they'll blow your ears out. The bike styles have changed from city bobbers to choppers to long-distance touring and baggers. In one day when you didn't see any RVs at all, you will today see miles-long trains of RVs with matching trailers, and inside they have their bikes, all of their party gear completely inside. This really indicates how much the rally crowd has changed over the years. What started as a weekend event was no longer good for these biker animals, so they extended it. In 1953, the rally was held for an official 4-day period. In 1965, it was extended to a 5-day event, and it was the first signs that the city was having a problem housing the crowd that was coming. In 1975, it was expanded again to be a full 7-day week. In 1987, the Buffalo Chip unofficially held the rally for 10 days and 9 nights of concerts. That lasted until 2016, when the city council voted to officially include the entire rally for a 10-day period. In 1949, that was the first year they closed down the main street for motorcycles, and it was only for 2 hours on a Friday night. Today you'll find the entire main street blocked off for the entire week, and let's be fair, trucks shouldn't be allowed to park on Main. The whole of Sturgis is basically shut down, and they'll even add additional stop signs and stoplights throughout the town to control the traffic. But more than that, the entirety of the Black Hills is participating in the rally in some way, shape, or form. In 2015, the rally broke its official attendance record when over 739,000 bikes showed up. That year I saw a line of motorcycles all the way into Boulder Canyon going to Deadwood, and the line on the interstate was backed up all the way almost to Blucksburg. For the 80th anniversary, there were 458,151 attendants. And for the 84th last year, they clocked 470,987. Indications in historical data would suggest that this year for the 85th is going to be absolutely massive and legendary. For this part of the video, I was lucky enough to score an interview with Damon Woodruff. Damon is the son of Rod Woodruff. Rod Woodruff is the person who created the Buffalo Chip. I wanted to get his opinion on how the motorcycle rally has changed and progressed over the years. Do you think the creation of the Buffalo Chip was critical for the survival of the Sturgis rally?
Political survival. During the time where the Buffalo Chip was born, it was, we say that it was born out of the ashes of the city park closing. And that is the Buffalo Chip became an oasis for bikers. You know, when you have a large faction of the people that want to kill something that they either don't understand the value or they don't see the solution on the other side of the problem, then survival is always at stake. And in the late 70s, bikers had kind of created a stigma for themselves. It wasn't entirely undeserved. However, that stigma also isn't representative of the core culture. The sentiment at the time locally wasn't real good, and we don't necessarily like to belabor the past, but it is the Buffalo Chip's origin story that we did come about the same year that the city park closed. And anytime that you can become somebody's oasis, they're going to flourish there. You're going to become friends. And what happens is you grow, you get bigger, you become, you know, in the Buffalo Chip's case, national and internationally known. And so did the Sturgis motorcycle rally. So although we can't take any credit for the creation of the Sturgis rally, the Buffalo Chip certainly can't. It can take some credit for being a place for bikers to escape and find a home. And that's really where our Welcome Home Bikers motto and sign comes from, is that sentiment that you're welcome here and we want you here and let's have a good time.
Do you remember your first Sturgis experience?
Well, since I was born onto the main stage during a ZZ Top concert, I can't say I remember the first time.
That's so rad, man.
First experiences get a little blurry when you were born into something. In my case, it's family. I was brought into it when I was 10. That's the truth. Chasing my father around. But so I can tell you about people. I can tell you about standout moments. Cowboy security patrols, patrolling the fence line on horseback in the old days, dealing with my first roadie vendors, and first time Toby Keith played in the rainstorm, bungee jumping over the pond, making the mistake of telling Blue Oyster Colts manager that they were a little slow to start. You know, there were lots of memories. But as far as early on, I don't know. I can't place them on a timeline.
When did you get your first motorcycle and what was it?
Motorcycles came kind of late in the sense of me riding them. I think 2005, I did a 5,000 mile trip with my father. We rode down the east side of the Rockies down into Arizona and then came back up the west side and ended up tucking tail somewhere around Glacier Lake in the snow and rain and sleet and heading back home. It was an early winter in September, and we came back through Yellowstone, and I was riding a Fat Boy back then.
Cool. That sounds like an epic trip.
Not many people get an opportunity to put that many miles, especially like a week after you get your endorsement and put those miles on with your father. It's definitely a memory I'll have of time spent well with my father.
How do you think the rally has changed?
Oh, man. Well, it's grown up. I alluded to the fact that there's kind of a stigma that was associated with biker culture, and that stigma had made itself into the Sturgis rally. It wasn't necessarily good for it at the time in the early 80s. It's become more accessible to more people, and it has a broader appeal, I think. It's, for us, it's music, motorcycles, freedom, and friends. And if you're a motorcycle fan or a music fan, or you just like people and you like getting together, it's welcoming. And it can either just be a concert experience for you with interesting people to look at, or if you love motorcycles, you can experience and share that love with the core audience of the rally. So over the years, it's just, I think, been more accessible. It has gotten rid of some of the negative associations with motorcycling. Motorcycle enthusiasts are really just good people, and a few bad actors, or, it was, supported by gonzo journalism like Hunter S. Thompson freaking the world out.
Yeah.
On motorcycle culture. And I feel like a lot of that's just gone. The bands have gotten bigger. We're focusing on A-level national concerts that draws a bigger, broader audience, and then also inspires, I think, people into just appreciating motorcycle culture more in general. There's a little bit of a pandemic in the world, and it's not COVID. It's actually that the average 4-year-old smiles like 400 times a day, but the average adult only smiles like up to 20. And to me, that's kind of a catastrophe for human connection, is where we find the laughs and shared experiences. Even though motorcycling itself is a solitary experience, when you're out riding, you come back together and gather and talk about that ride and over beers or music or whatever. And so really the whole point of the rally is escapism and real human connection. So in a world where just turning on the news is a traumatic experience, you still have the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally and the Buffalo Chip to turn that off, come have a good time, connect with other human beings, and get rid of what I call grumpy face syndrome, GFS. I think that's a real thing.
Yeah.
As soon as your inner child dies, you die, as far as I'm concerned. And this is the place to come and rejuvenate and have a new experience and a new look and share time with friends and ride motorcycles, listen to music.
How do you think the 85th will turn out? Do you think it'll be big?
People love anniversaries. Fucking made it.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations.
Yep.
And I'll be there to celebrate with you, because I've made it this far too. And my anniversaries are always milestones to be celebrated. Anniversary years are always a big year. It's the 85th anniversary of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. It'll be a big year.
The way I personally see it is like this second generation of rally goers is almost done. If they're looking at it like one last Sturgis, like the 85th will definitely be it. And if they're on that cusp of like, I don't know if I can make another couple or not, they are definitely going to come. And it's going to be also where they're like, hey, son or grandson, like, you got to fucking come with me this year. So I think it's going to be huge. Do you still feel the same way about the rally after all these years? And if so, like, how's that feeling changed?
Yeah, there's no way I feel the same way about the rally as I did as a youth. As youth, we're blinded by naivety and our own prejudices and how things should be, more purist points of view. At some point, you mature along with the rally itself and warm up to a lot of different things in life that perhaps you didn't when you were young. So unless you're stuck in the Bruce Springsteen song Glory Days, and still dreaming of high school, it would be a shame to be thinking about something the same way as I did 30 years ago. It's always constant, but never the same. That's the shell. And I say that's true with the Sturgis rally as well, is you need to be open enough to experience new feelings, new things. You don't maintain culture by being stagnant. You actually evolve with the cultural movement of the time. And so you can't possibly feel the same. But if you want to know, do I still like the Sturgis rally? I wouldn't be there if I didn't.
Can you explain how the rally is bigger than just riding motorcycles?
The rally is bigger than motorcycles because it's really about real human connection. If you're a moto and a music fan or a freedom lover or just like to hang out with your friends, there's a space for you. All you have to do is invite your friends and have the party that you want to have. The rally is being bigger than motorcycles. Of course it is. To us, it's the best party anywhere. It's the ultimate achievement of good time and real human connection. Sturgis can be whatever you want it to be. I think that's the best part of Sturgis.
So what can you expect to see today in Sturgis? And what's the rally all about? Today, the rally is a mixture of experiences, and it can range drastically. You can create your own adventure and experience the rally in many different ways. All of the major motorcycle companies will be bringing a demo fleet. If you'd like, you can get out there and ride every type of this year's new model from every make and vendor. If you came for the party, you don't even have to leave your campground or bar. There are shuttle services that'll bring you all around the Black Hills during the week of Bike Week. There are multiple adult party-themed campgrounds to choose from. Every bar and campground will have their own concert list. Not into the party scene? That's completely okay. Thousands of people come to Sturgis for a sober experience. The riding here in the Black Hills is absolutely world class. You can choose to conquer the hills and see every town the Black Hills has to offer. Deadwood has gambling for those that are inclined. There will be stunt shows, there will be motorcycle performance shows. Sometimes the police will demonstrate their skills and even show you how to pick up a motorcycle if you've dropped one. Looking to upgrade your motorcycle? They're going to be selling and installing any type of motorcycle accessory that you could possibly imagine. Food vendors from all across the country will be coming and cooking amazing food. There are a ton of motorcycle shows, choppers, customs, FXRs, gold wings. There's even a secret show in a neighborhood that not a lot of people know about, but it's free to go to and you can walk through. There's helicopter tours to take. There's locals in the Black Hills that'll take you on motorcycle tours. There's huge group rides like the Mayor's Ride, the Legends Ride, the Missing Indigenous Peoples Ride. Don't have a motorcycle? That's okay too. Plenty of people come to experience the rally that don't even ride. They just come in to look at the bikes, look at the people, or go to one of the concerts. Lots of tourists in the Black Hills every year just happen to show up and don't even know there's a motorcycle rally going on, and then they stay for the party. Although safety has dramatically increased over the years, and so have the availability of protection equipment, several deaths are reported every year at Sturgis. The hard pill to swallow is that the people who started the rally are gone today. And the people who have made the rally what it is today are now grandpas, or unfortunately they're gone too. Time waits for no man. All of us who have been to Sturgis wonder, will it see 100?
Will the rally live to be 100 and beyond? Of course, as long as someone wants it. That's only 15 years away. It's already survived 85 years. And they haven't always been easy years. And they won't always be easy years. But there is always a need for a place for people to escape the doldrums of everyday life. And the rally and the Buffalo Chip is a place where you can go safely escape the office, your tensions with your coworkers. You can turn off the news and just let go for a few days if you choose to. That's not going away.
Will the younger generation carry the torch Will they keep this event going? The hardest thing for me to see in Sturgis every year is an older person who can barely walk down the street tell me they had to get here for one last rally. But what's even harder is when I see somebody like that hobbling down the street who told me I had to make it for my first rally. And they had to experience it in the worst physical condition of their life. So if you've been to Sturgis before and you're a grandpa, maybe you're a father or a mother, and you experienced this tradition with somebody older than you, or maybe you came and made this tradition on your own, it's time for you to pass that torch. Invite somebody that's younger than you and bring him to the rally with you this year. We will not live forever. And these hot, unforgettable August days and cool nights are passing before us. Don't wait any longer. Get to Sturgis for the 85th. I'll see you there, riders.
There it is, the flaming shit house. It is burning. Yeah. Come on, where's he at? He's ready. Here he comes. He's ready.
Two of them. Maybe tomorrow. I'll do two of them. That was too easy. Not too much really excites me much anymore, but I like trying to excite other people to get them going. I'd like to do three. I would like to do three.